This is Ritesh Srinivasan and welcome to my channel. In this video, let's look at FinGPT framework. So what is FinGPT? So FinGPT stands for Open Source Financial Large Language Models. This is a paper from researchers at Columbia University and New York University. So what is FinGPT? Right? FinGPT is an open source framework which aims to democratize financial data and financial large language models. Okay, so it has a data-centric approach, recognizing the significance of data curation. It adopts a data-centric approach, implements rigorous cleaning and pre-processing methods for handling varied data formats, types, thereby ensuring high quality data. It's an end-to-end framework. It embraces a full stack framework with 4 layers. Basically, if you look at the architecture diagram, you have this data source layer, you have data engineering, you have these large language model layers, and finally the application layer. Okay, so it could be deployed on the cloud or on other systems. Right, so that is what they have mentioned over here. Right, so you have the data source layer. This layer assures comprehensive market coverage, addressing the temporal sensitivity of financial data to real-time information capture. Data engineering layer is primed for real-time NLP data processing. Okay, the large language models, you have the various different large language models, fine-tuning methodologies, and finally application layer. Okay. So what are the different data sources over here? You could have different data sources from news, from social media, from filings, from trends. Okay, so these are all the different data sources for financial data. You can have various kind of pre-processing on this financial data. You could have various large language models which can be fine-tuned. Right, you can have APIs as well as trainable models. You can have open source trainable models which can be fine-tuned using methods like low rank adaptation or LoRa, or say reinforcement learning on stock prices. Right, and you can have different applications like roboadvisor, quantitative trading, portfolio optimization, financial sentiment analysis. So this framework kind of takes care end to end. Right, all these things are available in separate modules or separate like in different libraries. You could have these library, you could have open source trainable models, but this framework is kind of end to end. Okay, so now coming to what are the challenges of financial data. Right, that's good to know. Why financial data, what kind of challenges are there, what is unique of to financial data. Right, so financial data comes from variety of sources. So the different kind of sources can be financial news, which carries vital information about the world economy, specific industries and individual companies. The data source typically for financial news is as typically features like timelines. Financial news reports are timely and up to date, often capturing the most recent developments in the financial world. It is dynamic. The information contained in the financial news is dynamic, changing rapidly in response to evolving economic conditions and market sentiment. There is influence. Financial news has a significant impact on financial markets, influencing traders' decisions, potentially leading to dramatic market movements. Okay. Then you have the different news, like different financial source like company filings and announcements. Now, these are official documents that corporations submit to regulatory bodies, providing insight into a company's financial health and strategic direction. So they feature things like granularity. They offer granular information about company's financial status, assets, liabilities, reliability. Company filings contain reliable and verified data by regulatory bodies. They are also periodic, could be quarterly basis. Right, impactfulness. Company announcements often have a substantial impact on the markets. Right, then you have another news source, which is social media discussions. Okay, social media discussions can tend to reflect public sentiment towards specific stocks, And the features are like variability. They are quite variable in terms of tone, content, quality, making them rich albeit complex sources of information. Real-time sentiment can be got from social media. They're also volatile, changing rapidly in response to news. Okay. Then you have trends data. So these trends data are based on, say, analyst perspectives, then market sentiment, broad coverage. Trend data spans diverse securities and market segments, offering comprehensive market coverage. Right. That's about trends. So these are the types of financial data or data sources in the finance domain. Right. Now, what are some of the challenges in handling financial data? So it is, you have highly temporal sensitivity. So financial data is characterized by time sensitive nature. So market moving news or updates once released provide a narrow window of opportunity for investors to maximize their return. Right? Highly dynamic, it keeps changing. So it is impractical and cost prohibitive to retrain models frequently to cope with these changes. Right? There is low signal to noise ratio. Financial data, meaning that useful information is usually dwarfed by a substantial amount of irrelevant or noisy data. So extracting valuable insights from the sea of information has some challenges, right? That is the challenges of financial data, right? So then they go on explaining about their data processing, their framework, right? Application layer, so which is what I've explained before. So they have for each of these particular financial news, social media, filings, trends, they discuss about the various data sources. I wouldn't go into detail. So websites like, say, Yahoo Finance, or social media like Twitter, Weibo, Reddit, right? Filings from NASDAQ, NYSE, SEC filings. It talks about that. Okay. So in the FinGPT framework, APIs are used not only for initial data collection but also for real-time updates. They are talking about the APIs from these data sources for real-time updates as well as for extracting data. You could also have streaming data APIs over here. Okay. So then they talk about real-time data engineering pipeline for financial NLP. Because you have continuous flow of information, so how do you set up this system? So then they talk about all real-time data cleaning, tokenization, stop word, feature extraction, sentiment analysis, those kind of things over here. Okay. And they also talk about prompt engineering, alerts, decision making based on the data, right? Triggering based on the input data. Then they come to the large language models over here. Now here you could have LLM APIs from established LLMs like ChatGPT, GPT-4, right? Trainable models, open source models which can be trained, or fine-tuning methods. Okay. How can you fine-tune certain models for, say, personalized robo-advisor kind of use case? So why fine-tune LLMs instead of retraining from scratch? Because it is more efficient, cost-effective. Okay. And fine-tuning is definitely going to be cheaper than building a model from scratch. For example, Bloomberg GPT, even though it is in the finance-specific domain, it used approximately 1.3 million GPU hours for training, which comes to a staggering cost of $3 million per training. Right? So this is too expensive. But if you were to use something like ChatGPT or this thing and fine-tune it, probably it is going to cost less than $300 for training. Okay. And then you also have approaches like LoRa and other approaches for efficient fine-tuning, right? If the objective is to employ large language models for analyzing financially related text data, so you can make use of ChatGPT and other models and then fine-tune them, right? Fine-tune a smaller language, large language model. Okay, so that is what they talk about over here. The other interesting thing they talk about is, instead of having reinforcement learning with human feedback as in ChatGPT, they have something called as reinforcement learning on stock prices. Okay. So in this case, the environment is the stock market and feedback comes in the form of stock price changes. Based on this, the approach permits, based on this, reinforcement learning happens. Okay. This approach permits FinGPT to refine its understanding and interpretation of financial text, improving its ability to predict market responses to various financial events. Okay. So by associating news sentiment with subsequent performance of related stocks, reinforcement learning with stock prices provides an effective way to fine-tune FinGPT. When you say FinGPT, in some places they refer it to as model, and in some places they refer it to as the entire framework. But here in this case, it could be any particular model within FinGPT framework. Okay. So that is what is my understanding. So by using actual stock movements as feedback, so you can directly harness the wisdom of the market to make our models better. That is what they say over here. And then they talk about various applications like robo-advisor, offering personalized financial advice, reducing the need for regular in-person consultations, quantitative trading. So this is about producing trading signals for informed trading decisions. Portfolio optimization, utilizing numerous economic indicators and investor profiles for optimal investment portfolio construction. Financial sentiment analysis, understanding the sentiments across different financial platforms, or say the stock, how it affects the stock prices. Risk management, financial fraud detection. These are all the applications of NLP in the finance domain. So that's what they talk about over here. Okay. So what they're saying is that they are sharing these codes for academic purposes. It's not financial advice, not a recommendation to trade real money, right? For that, you need to always consult a professional. So here in their GitHub page, they talk about the same thing over here. So they have the foundation model code over here, some of the codes for, internet scale financial data, how to use, say, for news, how to use some of the APIs, right? Say how to use the code for extracting data using this framework from different data sources. That's what they have examples over here, the various data sources and limits and the cost associated. That's what, not the cost, but the limits and other things they have put over here. Okay, so this talks about the data set and the kind of models which are available over here. All right. The models which are available are ChatGPT, GPT-4, Llama, FinBERT, Hugging Face models, Palm models, ChatGLM. So these are the different large language models available in this framework. Okay. So this wiki talks about whatever I've discussed till now in terms of what is the architecture, the data sources, right? And then it talks about the models which are available over here and how you can fine tune with some of, say they're using LoRa or some other methods over here. It talks about that, right? Okay, and they have the code available over here about this framework, and this code is available for, say, educational use, for academic purpose. That's what they have written over here, so you can check it out. They have some examples over here of demos, where they talk about how can you train FinGPT, say in Chinese financial market with ChatGLM and LoRa. Train your own FinGPT in American financial market with Llama and LoRa. Okay, so they talk about that over here, basically fine tuning, that's what they talk about over here. And they have some other tutorials also over here about robo-advisor, how to set it up, and so they have some examples over here for ChatGPT trading, right? So you can try out this code for experimentation purposes. But as they say, listen to your financial advisor, just don't go by whatever information these codes kind of give you. But this is an interesting framework because currently you have, say, domain-specific models like FinBERT, which are open source, but then you also have Bloomberg GPT, which is closed source. But this kind of provides a framework for you to actually build large language model applications in the finance domain, right? Kind of an end-to-end framework. So this is a short video on FinGPT. You can check it out. I'll be putting the link to this paper along with their GitHub page. I hope this video is useful for you. If you like the video, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. See you in another video.